Hello and welcome. The battle rages on. The states of Indiana and North Carolina went to the polls on Tuesday as primary season continues here in the U.S. race for the presidency. Hillary Clinton failed to close the gap on Barack Obama in the two key primaries, winning Indiana by a slim margin, 51% to 49%, but seeing that small gain outweighed by her rival's 58% to 42% decisive victory in North Carolina. The outcome of Tuesday's primaries helped Obama widen his lead over Clinton in the grueling Democratic duel, which will eventually decide who faces Republican John McCain in November's presidential election. In a victory speech, Barack Obama all but declared himself the party's nominee.
Because you still believe that this is our moment and our time to change America. Tonight, we stand less than 200 delegates away from securing the Democratic nomination for President of the United States. More importantly, because of you, we've seen that it's possible to overcome the politics of division and the politics of distraction, that it's possible to overcome the same old negative attacks that are always about scoring points and never about solving our problems.
But Hillary Clinton is not giving up yet, urging a Michigan and Florida recount and conceding nothing, despite the fact that she would need a landslide victory in the 6 nominating contests remaining.
Tonight, we've come from behind, we've broken the tie, and thanks to you, it's full speed onto the White House. But I can assure you, as I have said on many occasions, that no matter what happens, I will work for the nominee of the Democratic Party because we must win in November.
Don't forget, we take your calls on the show, and today the question we're asking is, who do you think will win the Democratic nomination? You can reach us at the numbers at the bottom of your screen. Well, joining me today from Chicago for analysis on last night's results is Laura Schwartz. She's founder of White House Strategies, a Chicago-based political communications firm. During the Clinton administration, she worked as special assistant to the president and was White House Director of Events. From New York, I'm joined by author and commentator Gloria Feldt, who writes on a range of issues from politics to the media. Her work has appeared in the New York Times, USA Today, Elle, and MS magazines, among many other publications. Also from New York, I'm joined by Kathy Aru, founder of Catalina magazine, created to break stereotypes of Hispanics in the media and entertainment. Welcome to the show, all of you. And Laura Schwartz, I'm going to start with you and ask if what you think of a lot of people saying that Hillary Clinton really is making a mistake by continuing with her campaign, that basically she should concede to Barack Obama and allow the Democrats to focus on the presidential race in November so there can be a united front against the Republicans.
Well, Riz, there definitely are two schools of thought on this. The Hillary Clinton campaign, of course, last night came out and declared victory. That was a very small 2% victory in Indiana because she wants to look as if she's going forward in it to the end to make sure that money keeps coming into her campaign. And today, she actually donated $6.4 million, we found out over the last month. So she definitely needs that money, and she wants to keep whatever momentum she can grab from last night going. Barack Obama mathematically has this nomination sewn up. So the question does become, should Hillary Clinton be out there just beating Barack Obama up, weakening him for the general election? Or does her being out there, allowing the competition to go on for Democrats to talk about the issues important to them and the 6 upcoming states in the nominating process, maybe that's a good thing. I have to say I would not push her to get out right now as long as she keeps it positive. That as long as she talks about party unification, and as long as she talks about those Democratic issues and ideals that are important to the entire party, not just her specifically.
Laura,
and so it's an interesting school of thought today, but she's staying in.
A quick thought then, at what point, I mean, the primaries, there's still quite a way to go, obviously, till November, till the presidential election. The primaries have gone on for so long, as far as many people are concerned. At what point will the Democrats have to show a united front, one way or the other?
Well, by the end of the first week in June, basically, there will be no doubt about the nominee coming up on May 20th. Barack Obama will, and according to all the different speculations and percentages, have the majority of the pledged delegates. And the pledged delegates, of course, are those delegates based upon the vote within the states. Those are the pledged delegates. Now, there are something called unpledged delegates. Those are former governors or former presidents. They are current governors, members of Congress that get to go ahead and cast their own vote for whoever they'd like. but it's very doubtful that the superdelegates would choose to overturn the will of the people. And the will of the people will become a majority for Barack Obama on May 20th. So it's really tough for her to stake an argument further than May 20th, but the Democrats have a caveat in all of that, Riz, and that is there are 2 states here in our country, Florida and Michigan, that voted in the Democratic primaries, but they voted early, before they were allowed. And because of that, the party's national committee said, you know what, we're not going to seat your delegates. Well, be it known, Hillary Clinton won Michigan and she won Florida, and she wants those contests to be counted. Now, the Democratic National Committee will meet on that May 31st. It's very doubtful that she would get out before then, even with Barack Obama sewing up the pledged delegates. I think this has become a moral issue for her to stand on.
Okay.
And we will see her continuing until about the first or second week in June, and then it's time for party unification.
Well, Gloria Feld, I wonder, you know, to what extent, from your perspective, the Democrats are hurting themselves with this dragged-out Obama-Clinton sort of race and, you know, sort of bad-mouthing each other to some degree. How much is that hurting the chance to go strong against the Republicans in November?
Well, the repartee between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama has been powder puff stuff compared to what's going to be happening in the general election. I actually believe that this primary season has made both of them stronger candidates. I think it has enabled the issues to come out onto the table. It has given the American public more opportunity to think about the issues. I always have said controversy is good. It's a teacher. It gives people the opportunity to think about what they really believe, and you can see that in the increased interest in the whole political process among Americans of all stripes today. So in the past, there have been a number of male candidates who have been in until the end of the primary season. The second place candidates have been in, some of them, until the actual convention. Nobody ever started putting pressure on them to get out, or at least not in the media play. And I think it should be the same with Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. It's a good thing. You don't stop a football game in the third quarter just because one team is way ahead or another team is way ahead. You let the game continue. And in fact, it is a process that is very healthy for the American public. We've never had so many people involved in politics.
That's true, Gloria Feld, but I wonder to what extent there might be also divisions being created when we look at the issues now being raised, such as, you know, the gender issue as far as Hillary Clinton concerned, the race issue as far as Barack Obama is concerned. How much are Americans being divided down those lines?
Well, here's the thing about sexism and racism. They're joined at the head. They are one and the same kinds of problems, one and the same kinds of social issues that need to be combated. And so it's going to be up to Obama and Clinton after the end of this race, whenever it's decided by one or the other that it's time to get out. It's going to be up to them to join hands and say to the American public, all right, guys, we got bigger fish to fry here. We have a bigger adversary to deal with here. And believe you me, John McCain is a scary guy. I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to join hands. I think they're going to go forward and in whatever iteration, whether they're together on the same ticket, which many have suggested, and I have always felt would be the American dream team in whatever order they happen to be, or whether someone else is the vice presidential candidate that we don't yet know.
Right.
I think they're going to go forward together.
Well, Kathy Aru, of course, no one can rule out the growing presence of the Hispanic vote, and I wonder, because you're involved largely with Catalina Magazine in changing the stereotypes, to what extent you think the Hispanic vote will count in this primary and also in the presidential vote?
Well, Hispanics in the United States are the largest minority group, so everyone's trying to court them. There's 40 million Hispanics, so you can't count them out. And Hispanics truly want change, as many Americans want change, and I don't think another Clinton signifies change. A lot of Latinos tell us that they want a difference, and Barack Obama is change. So you can't count out the Hispanics. They're very important. They were important for the last election, and people want their vote. They want to talk to them, and they want to reach them. And Barack Obama has really done a great job reaching them.
Now, Kathy, is that irrespective of the fact that a lot of people talk about a division between the African-American community and the Hispanic-American community?
The division meaning that the African American community is different than the Hispanic community?
Not seeing eye to eye often on their goals and their long-term sort of aims with the political candidates.
Well, Hispanic Americans are truly a unique group, and people aren't quite sure what they're going to do. But in the last election, they proved that they are turning more to Democratic candidates. So the Latinos seem to be going the African American route and supporting the Democrats. So if that is true, they want to vote Democrat, but they want to have a candidate right now, and I think they really want Obama right now. They're showing that.
Kathy, I wonder, how does John McCain resonate with the Hispanic community, the members of, at least you've spoken with?
Well, John McCain signifies the Bush administration for a lot of Latinos, which is the same old. So Barack Obama is the change. They'd like change. They come from countries. If you look at Mexico, they had the same party in power for over 70 years. If you look at Cuba, you have the brothers that have been in power over 70 years. You look at a lot of other countries that a lot of Latinos come from. You've had the same rulers for so long. So when you look at what's going on in the United States, a lot of the Latinos are wondering what's going on. You're going from Bush, Clinton again. I mean, it's starting to look a lot like the places we actually left behind, and we're not liking that.
Let's bring back Laura Schwartz here and ask about, you mentioned the money that Hillary Clinton has had to lend herself as a financial situation has been a little bit tough. How worrying is that for her camp, the fact that she's having to dip so much into her own pocket, second time now?
Well, they say that money is
interesting now.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was for Laura Schwartz.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Laura.
You know, it's interesting. Now the total is at $11.4 million, which is actually the total cost of her self-worth when you look at her Senate salary and what she's made from her book. So it's an interesting correlation now. She's spent pretty much everything she's made in the last 10 years or so. I think right now the Clinton campaign looks to these next competitions. They are in smaller states. The media markets are less expensive to put ads on the air, but this is daunting because when your money dries up, your momentum dries up. You can't get that direct mail out. You can't put those ads on TV. You can't buy the time on the radio. So they will use it very sparingly, but they want to remain competitive. So they're going to need to spin every way they can their message. They will push the gasoline tax holiday like they had in Indiana and North Carolina. Though, in this competition between Senator Obama and Senator Clinton, Senator Obama took a complete different stance on the gas tax, one that was thought perhaps unpopular, though the right thing to do by the economists and experts in this country for the long-term energy efficiency of this country. And he won that argument. So it will be interesting to know how much she uses that argument down south, in West Virginia and in Kentucky. But again, she cannot get her message out there without the money. And she will lose supporters by, you know, she doesn't have the same well of support when it comes to money as Barack Obama. Barack Obama's raised over $100 million, and his average donation is like $96. So Hillary Clinton had a smaller pool of bigger money. Barack Obama has really managed his campaign very well, has managed the money that they spent, and has managed this amazing grassroots insurgence of money coming into the campaign. So people giving $5 feel that they're playing a role.
Right.
You don't see that as much with the Hillary Clinton.
We're going to have to take a short break. Gloria Felton, Kathy, I want to get your perspective on the finance and other issues coming up in just a moment. We're going to take a short break. We're back more on this discussion in just a moment.